How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the old school Q&A summary. Now, I promise this thing is going to be weekly from here on out, no more 2-year hiatuses. It was this whole weird thing, I got sucked into r/conspiracy, started investigating the Clinton body count, but thankfully, turns out, whole thing, just one big coinky dink, so now I'm back for good, making videos. Like and subscribe, all those good things, and let's jump straight into the summary. Now, today was a very big day for Old School as the team released the Theatre of Blood developer blog. It details loads of potential rewards for the Theatre of Blood, and I'd highly recommend you give it a read. If you want to see summaries of dev blogs on this channel, then let me know. I'd probably only do it for the bigger ones, but it's something that I'd be more than happy to do. So now that all that is out of the way, let's get straight into the Q&A. Mod Kieran explained that the test world's going live tomorrow on the 8th of March will allow you to test the proposed Theatre of Blood rewards anywhere in the game. That's a definite improvement on previous test worlds as they were limited to certain areas. However, he does warn that the rewards in the test world will be placeholder graphics, so just in case you log on to the worlds tomorrow, no, don't freak out, they're not going to launch Theatre of Blood with every reward being flaming hot pink. Mod Archie asked the team to explain the Judgment Prayer offered in the blog, just to clarify a few of the details. Judgment is a level 85 prayer which increases your melee accuracy by 10% while lowering your defense by 50%. While active, it drains 1/6 of any of the damage you deal from your prayer points. It can be used alongside any non-overhead prayer. Mod Archie clarified that this prayer has no defense requirement, and he also added that the prayer drain mechanic is there to discourage a prayer flicking meta, and instead pushes people to use it for occasional special attacks. Mod Aiza also mentioned that they're considering buffing the prayer to potentially give a bit more accuracy or a bit more strength. Mod Kieran mentioned the concern of rushing, and Mod Archie swiftly pointed out that any rusher using the prayer is going to be very vulnerable because they're not only sacrificing half their defense, they also cannot use another overhead. Anti-rushing people using this prayer would be exceptionally easy. An unnamed player asked if the Sinhaza Shroud milestones could be lowered from those proposed in the blog. For a bit of context, the Sinhaza Shroud is an entirely cosmetic cape awarded to players who complete the Theatre of Blood. It gets a cosmetic upgrade at certain milestones as you complete more and more raids. The milestones listed in the blog were 100, 500, 1000, 2500 and 5000. Mod Archie said that pending confirmation with the wider team, he'd like to lower those so that the highest milestone is 2000 completions. Timo asked, why are you suggesting even further buffs to range with those new Van Braces? Now, Mod Archie said that he wanted to give some use to the Ranger's gloves, and that they're happy to take that top spot away from Barrow's gloves as they're already the all-around everything gloves. He added that the DPS improvement for range is only marginal, and if you're using more than one combat style, the cheap and well-rounded Barrow's gloves will often be the superior choice. Moving on, Mod Archie mentioned that the feedback on the Gehirazi Rapier has so far been asking for a buff. Mod Aiza clarified that due to the aggressive option being available on the Rapier, it will have a max hit of 1 higher than the Abyssal Tentacle. He also added that the team will be waiting for the test worlds to go live before making any changes to the Rapier's stats. A player called Stone said that the overhead prayer is a no-go as it will push the game into a prayer flicking meta. Mod Archie said that this would not be the case as dealing damage with the prayer active will drain your prayer points, preventing you from taking advantage of prayer flicking. Zen asked for further details on how the team plan to balance the cost of the Judgment Prayer Scroll, and Mod Aiza said that he's impartial to the way that the prayer is introduced, and he doesn't take issue with such a powerful prayer having a large cost associated with it. Mod Archie then brought up the discussion of more untradeable rewards coming from Theatre of Blood, as well as rewards guaranteed to be unlocked after a certain number of completions. He and Mod Aiza stated that their previous discussions with the community steered them away from guaranteed rewards, and that untradeable rewards may make players who don't actually want to interact with the content feel obligated to do so. Hay asked for details on the death mechanics of the Infernal Hilt, and Mod Aiza said that the death mechanic would likely be coins on death coming from a repair cost, like a lot of other items in PvP. Lord asked if people will be able to create or make food in the Theatre of Blood. Mod Archie said no, you will not, but they are looking at ways to refresh your food supply a bit throughout the raid. At this point, the team started to go over a few of the other rewards detailed in the blog, and they didn't really add much to what was already there in the blog, so I'm just going to say go and read the blog if you want extra details on that stuff. There's a link in the description. Throughout the rest of the stream, a few more things about raids were clarified. The team will consider allowing solo players to complete the raid, but they won't do so at the risk of making it easier for groups. There will not be any skilling within the Theatre of Blood. It's going to be a combat challenge. The raids will not scale based on the number of people inside, and that pretty much sums up the raids question, so let's get onto the more general stuff. Jam asked if you could have runes go directly into your rune pouch as you craft them, and Mod Aiza said that he feels it's a direction that should be avoided unless there's really wide support. Mod Kieran said that he wouldn't mind that feature with rune crafting. A chat pleb asked if the whip special attack would ever be reworked, and Mod Kieran clarified that the true purpose of the whip spec is just so people can see when you misclick and mock you for it. So, no. Another chat pleb asked if the Gargoyle boss drop table buff could be done soon, and Mod Kieran said that it is something that he would like to look at. He stated 2 potential routes for the buff, making Granite Dust tradable, or just a straight up buff to the drop table. He is not interested in adding a new unique. He also added that Necreals and normal Gargoyles drop tables will be getting a look at some point in the future. Smile asked for a members only setting for the chat options in clan chats. Modash said that it's something that the team would like, but it is not currently a feature offered by the chat system. The team would like the feature, but don't expect it anytime soon. Yet another chat player asked if the team are worried about power creep. Mod Kieran took on the question by saying that the team are worried about what the community is worried about, and the community are usually worried about power creep. He added that they don't want to push the meta too far too fast, and feels like so far it's been kept in check by the community. While powerful items have certainly entered the game, the current old school timeline, compared to the RS2 timeline, is pretty healthy. Curses haven't been added, nor is life point boosting armor, chaotics, or overloads. Now this discussion went on for several minutes and it was quite nuanced, and I don't feel comfortable cutting it down too much or trying to summarize it because it would probably lose a lot of that nuance. So I'm just going to say if you're interested in about a 10-minute discussion about power creep and the future of old school, then check out the last 10 minutes of the Q&A, there's a link in the description. And that is all for this week's Q&A summary. I do want to pass that final question on to you guys. How do you feel about the progression of old school over the last 5 years, and how do you feel about how it should progress into the future? And that is all for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.